All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and all the, like, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, man. And shalom to the believers in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a lesson on the Edomites and how it's starting to show that the nation of Edom is going through an extreme identity crisis, man. Because on one side you've got the elites that they really know that the time of their nation's up, right? So they're diving deeper into what the nation of Edom really believes in, which is all of the LGBT stuff, witchcraft, and all of these kind of things, man. They believe in worshipping angels and demons and devils, right? But then you've got the lower level Edomite that they really believe that they are actually righteous people at the core of them. So then they're trying to come with all this Tommy Robinson stuff, trying to pretend like they believe in the Lord. Yeah, they're yelling out and screaming out Christ is King and all of this kind of stuff, right? But they are not righteous, man. That is not the foundation of their nation, man. That's not the foundation of what they're supposed to be like. Their nation is their blessing is actually the sword, man. Right? So all of these Edomites around the world, they're going through an extreme identity crisis, and I'm going to try and go in the scriptures and show why I'm saying that, man. This is Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40, and in fact verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live. Right? The Edomites' blessing is the sword, man. The blessing that Yahweh gave them is the ability to kill people. When things ain't going Esau's way, he kills things. Right? When things are going his way, he kills things. When he's bored, he goes hunting and kills things. And his whole way of being, the way that he gets to have the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above, is by killing, right? By ruling the world through in wrath, like the scriptures say in Isaiah the 14th chapter. His way of ruling is not based on him having good ideas and the people being like, oh, I never really looked at things from that perspective before. Whereas the Israelites' way that the Israelites was given, that they've been given to, that they're going to rule the earth by, is by just the way how they are actually more righteous than everybody else, right? And we're going to be ruling the nation with a rod of iron, like the scriptures say. But the rod of iron is really the laws, man. The rod of iron is the laws that are going to be, that are difficult to follow, man. So difficult that Yahweh had to change the whole nation of Israel in order for us to keep them. And the only person from among the nation of Israel that he didn't have to change in order to make them be able to keep the laws perfectly was Yahweh Shai, which is why he is way more better than every single one of us, man. There's not no one from the nation of Israel that is more worthy of honor than Yahweh Shai, right? Because he was able to keep all the times when we have got the option to do the right thing or the wrong thing, and we do the wrong thing. When Yahweh Shai was on the earth and he was faced with the same kind of dilemmas, he did the right thing every single time. And it says in the scriptures that there's so many things. In fact, let me get that scripture first before I read this, right? John chapter 21 and verse 25. And there are also many other things which Yahweh Shai did, the which, if they should be written every one, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that should be written. Amen. So when people are all talking about this Bible has been changed, mate, you think that everything that's happened on the earth could be written in a book? We know that. So they're saying, oh, you think that God can be contained, or you think that the Lord can be contained in a book? Nah, we don't. Even his son can't be contained in a book. So how the hell is he going to be contained in there? But the things we need to know are in a book. And if you don't believe that, well, then that's on you, man. Right? But we believe that. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which I hear all these statutes and judgments and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So that's the way that the Israelites are going to rule, right? Whereas the way that the Edomites rule is by the sword, like the scripture said. Yet Esau hates Jacob because of the blessing that Jacob's got. right? And has desired to try and have the thing that Jacob's got, and has even went so far as to call himself by the name of Jacob, and stole the nationality from the Israelites, and now he's calling himself an Israelite, right? Yet he's not doing the things that the Israelites are supposed to do. And that's what I mean about how he's going through an extreme identity crisis. Genesis chapter 27 and verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, which the blessing is ultimately the laws, right? And the ability that we're going to get the new covenant, and that we belong to the same promises that Abraham was given, whereas Esau is not in that promise. Yet people want to try and make it like the seed of Abraham is just talking about everyone in the earth, but it don't cover Esau. And Esau is the closest descendant from Abraham's line, or from Abraham's people, if you want to say that, or he's the closest descendant other than Jacob, because he goes through the promised son, which is Isaac. And Isaac only had 2 sons. So if there was going to be a seed of Abraham that was going to get the promises outside of Jacob, wouldn't it be Esau? And yet Esau is hated, clearly written in the scriptures. Verse 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And ever since this point, you always keep hearing about the Edomites being the main enemy of the Israelites, right? To the point where when we skip into the future and the Edomites end up actually getting power over the Israelites, right? When the Israelites are in captivity now, what captivity was that? We say it was during the time when we was under the Atlantic slave trade. People that believe whatever they're saying, they can say whatever they want to say, right? But they'll say, oh, nah, the Edomites haven't even stolen the Israelites' heritage. And well, that's what you think then. Because when you don't know who the Israelites are, and you put a fake people under the name of the Israelites, and you start looking for prophecies among them, you're going to have to force it to try and make it like they're fulfilling prophecy. You're going to have to lie and be like, yeah, they're fulfilling this prophecy, but really, they're not though. You're having to force it like they're actually fulfilling something, but really they're not fulfilling nothing. This is Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 1. Moreover, Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith Yahweh, Behold, Mount Seir, I am against thee, and will stretch out my hand against thee, and will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And that's what Esau's always did, man. He's always just been against us, man. Every nation on this earth has got stereotypes against the so-called black man in particular, man. And who's the one that's came up with them, with those? Who's the one that gave them that information, man? It's Esau. In a lot of these nations where these heathens don't like Israelites, it's because Esau's went there spreading rumors, man, lying about us, and putting a fake image of how like we're all just like that on TV. But he's the one that made them be like that anyway. Verse 6, Therefore as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I'll prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus I will make Mount Seir most desolate, and will cut off from it him that passeth through, and him that returneth. And I will and I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills, in thy valleys, and in thy rivers, they shall fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and the city shall not return, and he shall know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast said, These 2 nations and these 2 countries shall be mine. And this is what it is. Esau's got power over the Israelites right now because they're in captivity, right? The Negro, Latino, and Native American, and he uses the Israelites to bring honor unto him. What time are we in right now? The Olympic Games. And you've got all these Jakes doing they got like Simone Biles, which she's like top tier within her sport, man. The gymnastics thing, right? But she's winning all those medals, and who ends up ultimately getting the praise, man? Esau, right? You got all these Jakes, LeBron James and all that. They're going to be winning gold medals in the basketball and all that. But who are they going to be giving honor unto? You've got the 100-meter sprinters. I think the 100-meter thing's taking place today. You're going to have Sha'Carri Richardson, Noah Lyles, all of these athletes that are top tier, man. But they're going to be given their glory when they win these things. They're ultimately, Esau gets the glory from all of that, right? Esau gets the praise. And that's what Esau does, man. He's got power over the Israelites now, so he uses them, and he wants them to bow down to him like how we're supposed to be bowing down to Yahweh. just like Pharaoh did, right? That's what Pharaoh did. And Esau is the modern Pharaoh, man. Whether he wants to believe that or not. Because that was said, verse 10, because that was said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas Yahweh was there. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. Now, what does Esau envy? He envies that we have got the best blessing, which is the laws of Yahweh. Now, even though Esau envies that, right? He's in a position right now where people of the earth believe that he's really the Israelites, right? People will say, oh, you're saying you're an Israelite, but I've been to Israel and I never saw nobody over there that looks like you. They'll say that. And there's a reason why they'll be able to say that, because that's prophecy. And the next chapter over shows the prophecy that why the Israelites wouldn't be over there, man. In bulk, anyway. There will be small amounts of people that even look like Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans over there, but they ain't being considered as really being Israelites. They think, oh, that's just them fake, oh yeah, whatever, just leave them do their own thing over there. They're not really Israel. Everyone else can get to say that they're an Israelite without too much questions, but when we say it, all of a sudden people start requiring way more proof. You know what I mean? A Chinese guy can say he's an Israelite, they'll be like, okay. An Arab can say it, they'll be like, okay. An Iraqi, all the different people can say it, Indians and all that, and they'll be like, oh, I never knew. Ooh, welcome home. But when we say it, they're like, okay, prove it with a DNA test. Okay, prove this, prove that, prove this, prove that. But they don't say it to nobody else, and that's very suspicious. A person that's got a brain to think would know that it's because we really are the Israelites. That's why they've got such a problem with us saying we are, because we really are them. Verse 12. In fact, verse 11. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate and given us to consume. And that's why they think, they're like, man, the Lord ain't dealing with these people no more. We're going to rule over these people and make them do whatever the hell we want to do. And they can talk all that with chosen stuff, but we're going to rule over them, man. We're going to put charagmas in them, and we're going to have them as our personal slaves and entertainment. And they ain't going to do nothing but sing and dance. If I want one of their women to shake it up and twerk it up on camera for me on one of my music videos, I'm going to have her twerking, right? And I'm going to tell her twerk, and then I'm going to tell her, actually, nah, shake that ass, shake that funky fat ass on one of these cars that I'm going to give you, right? And she's going to shake it too. And if I tell her, have a stupid orange hairstyle, have an ugly orange hairstyle out of your hair, and we're not gonna call you by your real name. Your name's gonna be Ice Spice, yeah? And you're gonna shake your fat ass on camera whenever I say so, right? And if I tell you to dress like a whore at one of my award ceremonies, you're gonna do it, yeah? You're gonna do it. And I ain't trying to hear none of that you being an Israel stuff, right? Oh, you two guys are gonna beef with each other. You're gonna make a song called "They're Not Like Us," and you're gonna battle against him, and he's gonna battle against you, and you're gonna do what I say, boy. That's how Esau's got it going on with these, especially with all these Jakes that really want to be rich so bad, man. He can do it to them, but when you don't desire his money like that, he can't get you like that, man. If he can't get you to worship what he worships and to be like your father, the devil, and to be bound down to what he's about, then he can't get you like that. But that's how he's got these Jakes that want to be famous and rich, man. He's got them, you know? Comedians, musicians, actors, athletes, anyone that wants to get in his realm of how he deals with things, man. Verse 12. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I have heard all the blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate and given us to consume. Thus with your mouth have you boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. And Christians won't be able to explain what this means, but this is going into really how ultimately it was Yahweh that planned for all of these things to be within the history of the Israelites. It was all part of our destiny as a nation, man. Before the Israelites even existed, 400 years of captivity in the land of Egypt was prophesied for them to go through. Now, am I lying about that, or am I telling the truth? What would can a Christian answer that? Is that a lie? That before Abraham even had any children, right, he was told that among his seed, one of his descendants are going to go through captivity. Wasn't he told that? Now, he didn't necessarily know exactly which one it was going to be, right? And let me read the prophecy. He didn't know exactly who it was going to be that was going to go through that, man. He never knew. He never knew which descendant it was going to be. Genesis chapter 15 and verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. He didn't know whether that was going to be Ishmael. He didn't know if it was going to be Isaac, right? He didn't know which descendant it was going to be when he got told this. He just heard that was going to happen. It doesn't specifically say which member of the seed it was, right? But we know that happened to the Israelites, though. So why is it so funny when we say that the Atlantic slave trade was prophecy as well, when the Atlantic slave trade more closely matches the kind of captivity that the Israelites went through in Egypt, more so than what them so-called small hats can try and say that they've been through. The things they've been through are not even close to being comparable. I'm pretty sure all so-called black people would have rather went through that small short-term things that they saying they went through than what they went through. And I'm pretty sure that the small hats wouldn't have wanted to go through what we went through for their nation. I'm pretty sure they're much more happy than the things that they're complaining about happening to them than what we went through. They wouldn't want to switch places and have went through what we went through. And neither have any of them say, right, that are supposed to be highly into the scriptures. Well, none of them are going to say that, oh, the hollow thing, yeah, that was because we sinned and was being wicked and we deserved to go through that. But guess what? I'll say it right now about the Atlantic slave trade. The Atlantic slave trade, we deserved to go through that. The so-called black people deserved all that ass whooping they was getting during the Atlantic slave trade because we were wicked, man. And we deserved all that ass whooping that Yahweh gave us, all the pain that we had, all the suffering, we deserved it. And all the pain and suffering that we're going to get in the end as well, in the time to come in Jacob's trouble, we deserve that too. And guess what? All the beautiful things that we're going to get, all the immortality, all the heavenly things, all the multiple wives that we're going to get as brothers, all the beautiful multiple wives that we're going to get, all the handsome sons and beautiful daughters that we're going to end up with getting from these wives, all the land that we're going to get given, all the ability to travel the earth freely at will, all the ability to travel the universe freely at will, the ability that we're going to get to be able to see a different place of the world every single day, and only have to come back to the land of Israel when we have to keep feasts and holy days forever and a day. Those things that we're going to get as a nation, we don't deserve those because we're wicked. You understand? We actually don't deserve all the beautiful things that we're going to receive. We don't deserve them. But all the things that we got as the punishment, we do deserve it, man. So what can you say about that? Now, back to this lesson, man, about how Esau's going through an identity crisis because he's so desperate to try and prove that he's a good person. Oh, I'm righteous. I'm Jacob. Them black people ain't Jacob. I'm Jacob. Well, be righteous then. Do the things that the scriptures say then if you're Jacob. Be it then. Be Jacob then if you are. Shouldn't prophecy be showing that you're the Jacob then? If you're Israel, be it then, man. Be Israel. You know? Teach the heathens the Lord. We're heathen. Okay, we ain't Jacob. All these black people that are saying that they're Israelites, all these Latinos that are saying that they're Israelites, and all these Native Americans and the 12 tribe signs not real. Okay. Do fulfill Isaiah the 2nd chapter, then teach us the laws, man. Teach us them. You know? Do away with war, like the scriptures say, since you're Jacob, right? But you Edomites are going through an identity crisis because when that Olympic ceremony was kicking off and you had that big puff there flouncing around on stage with them men in dresses behind him, right? That's your real spirit as Edomites, man. And majority of you Edomites that was trying to be like, oh, I can't stand it. I couldn't believe it, mate. That was terrible. You down with that? You're really down with that? Because when you pub lads, yeah, you footy lads, when you get drunk, you dry humping each other like madmen, mate. Give us a kiss. You puffed us, mate. Like that's what y'all are about, for real. You grabbing each other's batties, you know what I mean? And you calling it bants, but that ain't no way how Jake bants. Jake don't bants like that. Jake, well, the way our Israelite men joke around with each other is they can't really ever compliment each other really without like throwing an insult in there. So they'll be like, oh, I like your hair. but you're still an ugly bastard though, or some or some kind of shit like that. That's how Jake joke with each other. We don't grab each other's batty. That ain't really how Jake joke around, man. Unless they got that demonic spirit, demons on them or something, man. Following after you Edomite ways. Verse 14. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, which they're doing right now. They're in the land of Israel, pretending to be the Israelites, right? But they're going through an identity crisis because they use code words to eat pork. So they'll go into a restaurant and they'll say, please, governor, can I have a bit of kazeel, mate? Right? And kazeel, if you was to say it in English, is saying white steak, right? So, but they know you're not supposed to be eating pork, and they're in the land of Israel doing this. It's not like they're just in America doing it or England. No, they're in America doing it. I mean, in Israel doing it, in the Holy Land that they were so desirous to steal from Jacob for all these years, from the time of Genesis, man. You understand? From the time of the book of Genesis, they've been so desirous. And the thing that's mad about that is when the Israelites, right, when the Israelites wasn't in the land of Egypt, when the Israelites wasn't in the land of Canaan, and they was in the land of Egypt for 400 years, you notice how Esau didn't care about the land of Israel no more. Esau wasn't in the land of Canaan when they came over. Esau wasn't in the land of Canaan when the Israelites was in Egypt for 400 years. But as soon as the Israelites was coming out of Egypt from captivity, that Esau knew they was in, he was like, nah, you ain't going through to get to this land, because if you try and go through, I'm going to kill you, right? And then when the Israelites get in the land, oh, now all of a sudden you want the land of Israel, right? But you didn't want the land of Israel when the Canaanites was there, did you? How comes you didn't kill the Canaanites out of there in that 400 years that we was in slavery and get the land then? You only ever wanted the land when we was over there, huh? Now that we got the land and we had it, all of a sudden now you want it, man. But now that you Edomites have got the land, what are you doing over there? You ain't showing Yahweh the error of his ways and be like, oh, you Lord, you chose the wrong one. Look how righteous we are. We're doing it way better than Jacob. We're keeping the laws way better than Jacob did. You're wicked too. Verse 15, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee, and thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Now let's jump to this chapter, because people will say, oh, I ain't seen nobody that looks like you over in the land of Israel. You won't neither. You really might. You might not neither. But why though? Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 1. Also thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains, and say ye mountains, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and you are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are the infamy of the people. Therefore, ye mountains, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh to the mountains and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and a diversion to the residue of the heathen that are round about, meaning that the heathens are now in control of the land. Now, if a Christian's going to say, nah, it ain't the heathens, this bit's happened already, well, who are the heathens that are in the control of the land? Because I know that there's a battle going on for that land right now, isn't there? Between two groups of people. But the land is not in complete control of one group of people right now. So no matter people that they're talking about, oh, we should split it. We might do a 2-state this, a 2-state that, but the Bible don't speak about nothing to do with that. So even still, you'd have to say that that's still taking place then. So who are the heathens? You know what I mean? Where in this prophecy here does it say that the Israelites would be over there, but then they're going to be battling with another group of heathens for it? It don't say that. It says that all heathens and Idumea, the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea. So who are the Idumeans that are over there? Who are the Edomites that are over there? Is it the people that are calling themselves Palestinian? Or is it the people that are calling themselves Israelites over there? Which one is it that's the Idumeans? And which one is it that's the heathen? Because it don't say that none of them are Israelites, right? According to this prophecy. And this is what I mean about the identity crisis. They're saying they're Israelites. They're saying they are. But when you look at them and watch how they live, they're not doing it all. They're not fulfilling prophecy. right? They're not fulfilling prophecy. It don't matter how many laws they want to say they can keep. The Bible is clear about the law, and I'm gonna read it right now. The Bible is clear when it comes to the law. Keeping a law don't mean that you have the promise. So it doesn't even matter that they keep the laws for those of them that actually believe that they're really Israelites and are keeping some of the laws better than we are. They're keeping Sukkot and all that. When you have the houses outside to remember when we was in the wilderness, they do that. We ain't doing that. We ain't got the ability to do the things like that. What are we gonna put outside the tent? A tent that we got from Decathlon or something. What are we gonna put outside? We ain't got money like that to be keeping some of these things, man. But they have, and yet they still, due to their identity crisis, don't really want to keep believing the Lord, man. And there's this YouTube channel where this guy goes around asking people that live in the land of Israel, because he lives there too, and he asks them questions all the time, stuff like, do you believe in God? You know what I mean? Do you think that the land of Israel should be based on God's commandments? And they show time and time again, they're not the people. And in some of those videos, I've watched them. I know what I'm talking about in regard to this. I've watched many hundreds of those videos, man, because I'm highly intrigued to watch those videos, man. I've watched several of them, hundreds, hours worth of footage, man. And on one of the videos, one of the guys said, right, that we know over here that the black people really are the real Israelites. He said that in one of the videos, man. He said it. Now, for me to find that exact video would take some time, but I could find it if I really looked, man. If Yahweh guided me to find it again. Just like how he guided me to find it in the first place, man. They know they're not really the people, some of them over there. But whereas some of them really think that they are. So there's an identity crisis because they really desire to be wicked, but then they're getting told, oh no, but we're Christian. England's a Christian country. Americans a Christian country based on great Christian values, but then how they live their lives, they don't want to believe in that. They want to be wicked. And when simple things as not eating pork, they're like, nah, but it's just pork. It's porky though. Like I just love it on a bacon, on a chicken, on my chicken burger. They just love it. You know what I mean? They're hearing about they're not eating pork, but then when they're like, man, but I gotta keep it though. I gotta do that. I just love it too much. You know what I mean? Romans chapter 4 and verse 14, for if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void. So even if those people in the land of Israel, which are not really Israelites, are keeping all the laws better than the Israelites, that don't mean nothing neither. Because then that would mean that faith's made void. And the promise made of none effect. That would mean that the promise that Yahweh gave to the actual seed of Abraham, which are people that go through Abraham, Isaac, then Jacob, and then to the 12 tribes of Israel, that would mean that promise meant nothing. If just by keeping the laws better than the Israelites, you can now become part of that. That don't even do it, man. There ain't no way that you can slide your way into this if it's not for you. You can't make yourself an Israelite, man. Saying you're spiritual Israel, you can say that all you want. Where's the DNA test for that? People have got the nerve to try and come to us. Volker Malone's got the nerve to come to us. Oh, you wouldn't do a DNA. These they keep saying that Israelites, but they wouldn't do a DNA test. You do a spiritual DNA test to prove you're spiritual. You do something to prove you're a spiritual Israelite. Then do it. Do something to prove that you're really an Israelite, man. Because one thing I've noticed as well about you fake Christians, man, right, is that all of a sudden now a lot of you guys are trying to grow beards. But before, you used to say that you don't have to have a beard. And you used to mock that we have beards and that we'd have a beard. You say, so you think God's gonna because you got a beard. Well, why are you growing beards now then? Why you got a beard now, Volker Malone? When you never used to have one before, why you got one now all of a sudden? Huh? Why have all of a sudden you now got a beard, whereas before in times past you used to say you don't need to have one? And most Christians now are rocking beards all the time, most of them. But why though? Who are they copying? Who did they see do that before? Now some of these Christians are trying to talk about the wickedness of women. Who did they see doing that before? But now it's become popular because people on podcasts are talking about it, yeah? Now because it's hot to talk about it and because you can make money talking about it, now you want to talk about it. But when you was getting called a chauvinistic pig and, oh, you hate women and all that, oh, your mama black, you didn't want to talk about it then? But now that you've realized that even women are talking about how wicked women are, all of a sudden now you want to say it. And that's the thing. with all the things that the Israelites are talking, everybody else is only talking about them now. They're playing catch up. You even got podcasters that used to do nothing but talk about holes. Now they want to talk about political things, and they want to talk about Israel and all this. But the Israelites have been talking about that, and a lot of these people in the world, they're trying to hijack the message that the Israelites have been talking about to try and make it seem like they're the original source of this information, and they're not. But what they don't understand is that the scriptures are clear, man. It says, if I've told you of earthly things, let me get it. Yahweh Shai said this. Let me get this, man, because this is kind of going off the topic of this whole lesson, but it's still on topic with the spirit of how this place is going to form, man. John chapter 3 and verse 12, if I have told you of earthly things and you believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you of heavenly things? Now, the MOTB, if I was to ask people, is the MOTB prophecy an earthly thing or a heavenly thing, right? I wonder what they would say. Now, I'm saying that the MOTB prophecy that's mentioned in Revelation 13 verse 16 is an earthly thing. That's clear. Like, that's not a difficult thing to believe can happen. For the government to lose the plot, bug out, and say everybody has to have this piece of thing in their body in order for us to know who they are, so that they can buy and sell. If they don't have it, they're kicked out of the whole system of how we do things. That's earthly. That's not hard to believe that. So any random person that comes up now and they start talking about it, right? Okay, they can try and think that they're hijacking the truth telling on the earth, the real truth telling, but that's an earthly thing. So of course these carnal people are going to believe that, right? If we was to talk about World War III, is that an earthly thing or is it a heavenly? That's an earthly thing. So people can believe that. Some don't, but that's not hard to believe, right? If we start talking about how the world's going to go under martial law or something like that, that's earthly as well. But when you start talking about stuff like we believe the day is going to come where UFOs climb through the clouds in the sky, right? And so-called black men are going to be in those things, but they're going to be in a godly form, right? And that Yahweh Shai is a so-called black man. It's going to have a big afro and a big beard to the point where it's going to probably match round and meet round from the hair to the beard edges. And he's going to look like a lion in his face structure. He's going to be a man that looks like a lion. And he's going to come in the power of a lion and the power of a godly man. And he's going to be riding on UFOs that are going to drown out the sky. And it's going to fill the sky so vastly that you can't tell where the front of the UFO is and where the back is. If you were standing underneath it, that's how large it is, that you can see nothing but that. If you start saying stuff like that, well, that's where these people that can believe certain earthly things are going to switch off and be like, nah, that's ridiculous. So leading up to the point of the earthly things taking place, it would seem like, oh, well, this guy, I believe, he's a truther, and he said that these earthly things are going to happen, and they've happened. So he's obviously telling the truth. Whereas these prophet people, they've also said these things, but then they believe in some ridiculous things like black men coming out of the clouds, and that's just ridiculous. They said that they're going to be picking up tanks and throwing that. When's a man ever lift a tank? It's hard enough for me to bench 100 kgs. Never mind lifting a tank. Well, these things are outrageous beliefs for a reason. So that when they happen, it can be clearly established who was always telling the truth, man. The earthly things, there's going to be idiots. Any idiot can believe certain earthly things, man. To believe the MOTB prophecy right now, it is a deep thing to believe. It still shows you're on point. But there's going to be people that believe in the MOTB prophecy, but they don't believe in none of these heavenly things, man. And what did Yahweh Shai say? I'll read it again. If I've told you earthly things and you believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you heavenly things? Which that means that you have to believe all these earthly prophecies that you're hearing about from the Bible first to even have a chance at believing the heavenly things. Right? So believing the earthly things is a start. But you have to believe, believing the earthly things is a start, but you have to believe the heavenly things too. You have to. Because there's certain things that are going to take place on the earth that can only be answered by explaining them as heavenly things. The only way to explain some of the things that are going to take place on the earth very soon is going to be heavenly things, man. And some people are going to be so bugged out by certain earthly things that are going to have took place. So when the heavenly things take place, they're going to be having heart attacks, seizures, just bugging out, man. Now, let me go back to Ezekiel 36 with going into more how Esau's going through this identity crisis, man. They're bugging out here. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 5, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea which have appointed my land into their possession, because they've got control over the land right now. And they still ain't doing what Israel's supposed to do. They ain't fulfilling the prophecies, right? Yahweh ain't working with them to fulfill the prophecies of the Israelites doing things anyway. They're doing the Edomite things and the heathen things, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast out for praise. So the thing that they've did, that they actually their goal is, when they're over in the land, is to make it be vile, right? Their goal is to make the land be vile, but outwardly to the people, you've got all these Edomites over here that want to believe in Christianity, right? And they're trying to make out like Israel's fulfilling prophecies. Like, I remember when Donald Trump said he's going to build the third temple and all of that. And you had all these Christians saying, he's such a good man, he's such a good man. Haven't you dummies heard that the scriptures say about that there's no temple in it? Haven't you read the prophecy that says, and I saw no temple in it, because Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the temple of we're going to be with the temple within there. So you should have already knew that there ain't going to be no third temple like what you believe in that way. There ain't going to be that. There ain't no need for it, man. Right? Haven't you heard about that? And in fact, since I said it, let me get it so that you can hear now, if you haven't heard of it. For any of the people that are really believers that want to know about this, man, the scriptures say that there's not going to be no third temple in the kingdom of heaven, man. Let me get that. Here we go. I should have just read it from there. Revelation chapter 21 and verse 22. And I saw no temple therein, for Yahweh power almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. So there ain't going to be no third temple that no one can try and break down with hands. That ain't going to exist, man. Ezekiel chapter 36. But part of Esau's identity crisis is him coming up with all these lies, man. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 6. Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because you have borne the shame of the heathen. Right? It's a shameful thing for a land as beautiful as that to give it into the hands of these dirty, stinking scallywags, man, that are destroying our house. Right? They've destroyed our home, man. Us brothers over here, man. We ain't got houses that we own, most of us, man. I know I don't. But we've got land over in the land of Israel. And currently that land's being defiled by some dirty, stinking people, man. The land that we're actually going to end up getting back when we go home for real. Heathens are going to have been there, man. Defiling up our land, man. That's going to have to get cleansed, man. Know what I mean? We're going to have to rejuvenate the ground and all that, man. Still from the ground up. And these heathen are going to do it for us. They're going to rebuild all the damage that they've done to our houses, man, that we got over there, man. And we're going to be able to have family headquarters. You know, the house that we end up building when we go back to the land of Israel, that's going to be like the first house of our line, man. For whoever those Israelite brothers are going to be that are lucky enough to be the first batch, man. That house that they end up building, that's going to be the first headquarters of your family. Your home is going to be that. You know? Verse 7. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I have lifted up my hand. Surely the heathen that are about you shall bear their shame. And Esau is going to bear his shame, because he's in the land right now, right? He's got people believing that he's the chosen, and yet he ain't doing the things that he's supposed to be doing. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 10. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. Even though people are believing that they're the chosen, they ain't doing the things they're supposed to do. They're going through an identity crisis. You got one group of Christians saying, oh, we're the chosen, we're the Israelites, right? But then they're sneaking off, doing all this madness. Look up what is it, man? The thing that the Moil does, which is the person that does circumcision among them fakes, right? And they have a thing called a metazitza bepe, which involves them using their mouth as part of the circumcision. What's that called? Right? Because Abraham got circumcised in his 90s. So would Abraham have been given a metazitza bepe? I don't think so. Because Abraham weren't no batty boy, mate. So Abraham would have never allowed no one to be putting their mouth nowhere near that on him. Would Isaac have allowed that? Nah. Would Jacob have allowed that? No. No, he wouldn't, man. So you ain't supposed to be doing no metazitza bepe. You ain't supposed to be doing none of that. That's off. That's not righteous, mate. That's more Leviticus 20 and 13 activity. than Leviticus 12th chapter activity, you know? But anyway, back to this. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 10. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In a land of uprightness, he will deal unjustly, right? And will not behold the majesty of the Lord. Now, what did the prophecy say in Ezekiel 36? What did it say, man? Ezekiel 36 and verse... Ezekiel 36 and verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey, not to make the land righteous, not to make the land... In fact, let me go back. Not to make the land like the Garden of Eden, like the prophecies say it's going to be like when the real Israelites return. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 35. And they shall say, this land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden, and the waste and desolate ruined cities are become fenced and inhabited. Can you say that the land of Israel is fenced right now and inhabited? People are leaving from there, and every single Israelite don't even want to be over there. The people that are claiming that they don't want to be over there. They'd rather be in America, in New York or something, or in Tottenham Hale in London and that, man. Looking simple as hell. Know what I mean? Or wherever the hell the places that they're supposed to be in London, man. Know what I mean? But I know I've seen them in Tottenham Hale before in the past when I used to live there briefly, man. I know I used to see them in Tottenham Hale. I didn't even know what the hell that was in that time. And I was like, what the hell are these people? What the hell is this? Know what I mean? But anyway, verse 35, and they shall know, and they shall say, this land that was desolate, it become like the Garden of Eden, and the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Then shall the heathen that are round about you, then the heathen that are round about you shall know that I, Yahweh, build the ruined places and plant that was desolate. I, Yahweh, have spoken it and will do it. And now has Yahweh done it? We know he's spoken it. Can you say he's done it over there in the land of Israel? Can you say that that place is like the Garden of Eden? No, you can't, man. If you go into tourism, right, and you get a holiday planner, and you was to say to them, plan me a holiday to the best place in the world, they're not going to choose Israel, you know. They're not going to. They might say Bahamas, they might say Switzerland or something like that, they might say France, they might, go Monaco, they might say go Dubai, they definitely mention America once or twice, but they ain't going to mention going to the land of Israel, showing that that place ain't considered highly among the people, man. It ain't. You'll have fake religious fanatics that they be like, you've always got to go to the land of Israel one time in your lifetime. But they don't really believe in the Lord, though, according to the truth of what he's about. Know what I mean? They don't, man. Verse 37. Thus saith the Lord, I will yet for this be inquired by of the house of Israel to do it for them, and I will increase them with men like a flock. How many of them so-called Jews do they say that is across the world? Don't they say it's like 11 or something like that? Worldwide. That's nothing, man. That's nothing. 11 million. That ain't nothing. That's nothing, man. Nick Cannon just himself's got like 12 children. You know what I mean? Like straight 12, man. And Jake be having children by accident, mate. Jake be trying to think, I don't even want to have any children, and they'll just have some. That's how much Yahweh increases us. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, let's go to another prophecy, because they're supposed to be the Israelites, right? They're chosen among men, the kings of kings, right? Everyone want to talk about we was kangs and all that. They're the main we was kangs people across the world, man, claiming that they're everyone, but then they don't know who Esau is. They're going through an identity crisis, man, because they really are about the things that they did at that Olympic ceremony. But then at the same time, you've got them trying to come with all that Tommy Robinson, Christ is king, and then you've got them trying to pretend like they're the Israelites as well. And then they're trying to pretend like they're good people in general, but they're demons. They're the wicked. They're going through an extreme identity crisis, man. They're not the people. They're not righteous. Like, I don't know how many times I can say this about them, right? across, if you look at the earth, right, and you consider who the bad guys are, it's them. It's the people that call themselves Caucasian, English, and all these things. They're the bad people. And that's why they have to lie all the time. They can't be honest about what it is that they've done across the earth and just stand on what they've done. They have to say, oh, everyone did it. No, everyone ain't did the things you did, man. Everyone ain't did all the things you did. You've worried about what you've did, man. And you're going to have to deal with the things you've done. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Now, the small hats, they desire to be the top of the nations, right? And they want everyone to have to just deal with what they say, right? But at the same time, they don't want to do this part though. Verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. If we was to go up to some of them small hats and try and tell them, teach us the laws, man, we want to be righteous, they're going to tell us to kick rocks probably. They ain't going to want us around them. But they're supposed to be the people that teach everyone the laws. Whereas when we're in power, we're going to be making sure that you heathen don't skip a beat on the laws, man. We're going to be straightening y'all out, man. Y'all are going to be in some righteousness revival, man. We ain't going to be allowing y'all to mess up the earth, man. The earth's already messed up. And it's going to get worse. We ain't going to want it to be like this ever again, man. We're going to be watching over you like a hawk to keep you on point, man. And that's what the Israelites are supposed to do, according to this prophecy. So in all of Esau's identity crisis, how comes his main thing is trying to make everyone be a rainbow activist? His main thing is trying to make people accept rainbow life because they got the land of Israel and the desire now is to cast it out for a prey, not to make it be like the Garden of Eden. They want to cast it out for a prey. They want it dirty, filthy, funky, and freaky. They don't want it righteous, holy, separate, honorable, and like the Garden of Eden and a place that's desired among the earth to live in. That people can look at that and be like, wow, surely this is a great and understanding people. And many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall learn war anymore. So how are you going to have a nation that's blessed with the sword, pretending to be the Israelites, right? That's the goal of the Israelites is going to be to make sure that the world is never under war anymore. But their whole blessing is about war. The sword is the most esteemed during times of war, right? And that's why when you look up the history of America, it's been at war the majority of its time in existence, man. Since 1776 and all that, it's been at war the majority of its time existing, man. It has. Because that's what it's about, right? Now, I'm going to end the lesson there, man, but I just was thinking about this today, about how the Edomites are going through an extreme identity crisis, man, because they really know they're demons and they're wicked, but they are so desperate for people to think that they're righteous, right? That they're pretending that they're good people and they believe in Yahweh's laws. But then when you actually see what they do when given the unlimited resources, they do things like that Olympic ceremony. That's what they're really about, right? They're not about righteousness. They're about freaky Olympic ceremonies and LG3T, you know? But yeah, I'm going to end the lesson there, man. You Edomites are going through an identity crisis, man. And you're not righteous, man. You're not good people. You're not the chosen. You're not righteous, right? The things that are written in the Bible, you don't really believe them. You think that the Old Testament's done away with. You don't think that if it was to keep the laws of the Bible, that would be a more righteous earth. You don't desire the laws of Yahweh. You really want to be living in a place where you can do whatever the hell you want to do. You'll claim that you're against that rainbow life, but then at the same time, the next sentence over, you'll be like, I don't care what you do, but you're supposed to care. You're supposed to care if somebody lives their life like that, because that's defiling the world. You're supposed to want to live in a world that's about the laws of Yahweh. But because you people are not really designed for that purpose, you're going through an identity crisis because you want people to believe that you're righteous, but all you know how to do is be wicked. And on that, I'm going to say shalom to the elect, to the nation of Israel. Shalom to the elect.